Hearing the words is faithful, it felt like a voice whispering, I haven't left you, even when you can't feel me, because he's always there. He's always around us.
Can't see grace for what it is until you need it most. God feels so close to us in those moments.
The third hour is here. Holy Spirit appear. Guide us in all
Kind of, to me, proves like that God has knitted us together, like to glorify Him. Literally, with every breath that we take, even without us knowing it, we are glorifying God.
And glorify the risen Lord and King.
You want to have a closer relationship with Jesus, trying to be the best person you can be each and every day. That glorifies Him.
Holy Spirit, do your thing. We might not know how, but we ain't gonna feel.
Like, that is God sending us. That is how He feels for us. That is how He cares for us.
Move us today, Holy Spirit, come and fill this place. Move us today, Holy Spirit, come and fill this place.
Hey guys, before we get into this episode, I just wanted to let you know that if you want to check out any of the songs that we talk about today, the new Christian music songs for the week, or our hidden gems, as well as the Winter Jam 26 preview, go over to the Third Hour collection on Spotify. The new songs will be updated weekly every Friday. Welcome back, everybody. This is another episode of the Third Hour. Guys, we just want to first say this before we get into this episode. Thank you to all the fans out there that so far have shared the clips and shared the episodes. We're pretty blessed this week that one of the clips, like Wretch, one of the artists that we were talking about in last week's episode, and that was Shawn. Terrific up-and-coming artist, and he shared that clip on his story, and we're just really appreciative of that, so I wanted to make mention of it. And we even had Consumed by Fire and Christian Hahn and a few other artists that we had followed on Instagram, but follow us, they went and followed the podcast page. So it's really just been a blessing, and I think that it's cool to know that some of these artists that we talk about and stuff like that, they may see it on there, and we just pray that, when we do this, that we always try to uplift, and a lot of these artists, they work super hard on this music and stuff, and it's cool to see the end result, and we get to listen to it, and we get to praise God through some of the songs that they write, and it's just like a small way to kind of give back, get on here and kind of use this platform to give them a little bit of light, but, ultimately, glorify God more than anything. But still, like, I want to be appreciative of those moments. So this week, guys, we're going to kick off the new songs with a mention of one of my personal favorites this week, and I would say a cover, right? I mean, this is a song that's been out and it's been pretty popular. That is Holy Forever by Jason Dunn. Another rendition or remake or whatever of Chris Tomlin's big hit single. Just a fantastic praise and worship song in of itself. The lyrics and stuff are just beautiful. I feel like a lot of the concerts I've been to recently, even though they haven't been Chris Tomlin concerts, they have a little bit of this song in their concert. It's just one of those. And Tomlin has plenty of songs like that. But Jason Dunn, a lot of people might not know who that is, right? But if you're a Christian music fan, especially back in the mid 2000s, you think? I would say,
Yeah.
in that era, you might recognize his voice. So I had the bio here. I wanted to read it off for you guys. Jason Dunn is a Canadian singer, songwriter, and performer, best known as the founding member and former frontman of the internationally recognized pop rock Christian band Hawk Nelson. So with more than 2 decades in music, he has built a reputation for memorable melodies, energetic performances, and authentic storytelling. Hawk Nelson's creator and lead vocalist for over a decade, Dunn helped guide the band from its independent beginnings in Ontario to multiple charting albums, international touring, and award-winning releases. It goes on to say, they won quite a bit of awards and Dove Award nominations, stuff like that. He did leave the band. I want to say it was around 2015, maybe. I can't remember. It was around that time. He doesn't mention it in his bio. Just from what the research I had done, it seemed just to be a different direction he was wanting to go, and the band was wanting to go, and it was not, to my knowledge, not anything like bad blood or anything. It was just they had different visions, right? So he ended up launching his solo career, and he's still releasing music now. I don't know if he has an album in the works, but according to his Instagram page, he's talked like he's got a lot of music that he's sitting on that he's hopefully going to release in the next little bit. Oddly enough, he also has 2 profiles on Spotify and probably on Apple Music too. One under Jason Dunn and the other under Dunner. So Dunner profile is more of a Celtic Irish sounding thing. Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, really
I'll have to
interesting.
check that out.
Yep. And I don't know if he's going to continue to do both separately going forward. I'm not real sure, but as of like last week when he posted a clip, he mentioned both of them in it. So maybe that's what he's doing.
So is it Christian? Is it Celtic Christian music?
I listened to a song or two the other day, just went through them once, just because I was listening to that and some of his own stuff on his Jason Dunn account. The Jason Dunn stuff is definitely more Christian based. I don't remember if the Dunner is. Now, he don't like cuss or anything like that on it or anything, but I don't remember the message off the top of my head to see. So I probably need to like go check that out again and see. But it's still like it's solid. Like it's a cool little Celtic like undertone to the song, and even the sound, like his voice, it just goes well with it. I wouldn't have thought that because I don't know. I just don't think of Celtic type stuff when I hear him.
That's me. I was like,
it's kind of an odd thing.
Like you see, you don't think Celtic when you hear him. Well, when I listen to that song, it's a great cover, Holy Forever. But it was really good. I have not heard him in years, and it was really cool to hear that familiar voice. And it's very Hawk Nelson-esque. You know what I mean? It feels like this could have been a song that Hawk Nelson just released, as one of their own. It's a really good song. Really enjoyed that one too. So it's a great one to start the list off with.
Sure. And Mariah had put actually the other day, and I don't think she minds share this, but she put in her group chat the other day that they were listening to it and didn't look to see who Jason was or anything. And they played the song in the vehicle, and they're like, she's like, wow, that sounds just like Hawk Nelson. And then I don't know if she came to the realization of it or if Rusty told her, but it was like, was the lead singer of Hawk Nelson. And as a point of clarity, because I was confused with this at first, Justin actually told me when he left, they had another singer and they were under Hawk Nelson still and dropping like a few albums. So as a point of clarity, the reason why I mentioned that is because the second lead singer that took over, it was kind of like big news at the time that he publicly like denounced his faith online.
Wow.
Yeah, it was this whole thing. And I don't know like now like where his journey is. Like, I pray that he's came back and all that. But I just didn't want people to be like, well, Jason Dunn, that's that guy that, he left the Christian faith. Like, why are we talking about? Because so like Jason Dunn left Hawk Nelson, then the other guy, I can't remember his name, stepped in, and he was a great vocalist too. And then he left, and I don't know that Hawk Nelson even continued as a band after that.
Yeah.
So I was like,
I
as a
haven't
point of
heard of them
clarity.
in years, so I don't know if they did either.
Yeah. But for sure, I'm super happy to hear him dropping songs. I really hope that he gets some traction with some of these because I think we need that. Man, I miss like a good punk rock, like a good punk rock sound period anyway. But we need another band like that in Christian music. There's
Where's the new Reliant K?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's a female artist. I cannot remember her name. I think she's just getting started right now, but she has some Instagram videos, and her album that she has coming out, or it may have already came out, was like Christian music goes pop or goes rock or punk rock or something. I can't remember, but she does like a bunch of covers of like kind of like what Jason's doing in this with Holy Forever, but it's like punk rock covers of like Christian songs, but it's got the sound to it, right? But I would love to see Jason get back out there continue with this, and I'm a huge fan of him. Jason, if you happen to listen to this podcast, we would love to have you on here. I remember watching Hawk Nelson back in Sunfest and Carowinds. Gosh, it was quite a bit ago. It was after, like, right after one of their big albums. I can't remember the album that it's called. Okay, so it was the album that was like Smile, It's the End of the World album. Around that time is when they really took off. And he was at some award show. I can't remember what it was. Might have been like the Doves or Grammys or whatever it was. And he said that they wasn't used to that kind of attention. Like that album took off, and like everybody was wanting to talk to him. They were doing interviews left and right. I don't know if they performed or what and all they had to do, but he said it took like a toll on him. And so he was in the elevator going up into his hotel room, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but this guy told him that he looked like someone or something, something small or whatever. And Jason just like was just like leaned back with his head, and he's just like, dude, it's just been a long day. Or like he just kind of wrote him off, right? Like kind of snarky, kind of in a rude way, not meaning to, he was just tired. Well, that guy just happened to be Chris Tomlin. And when he raised his head up and looked to see who it was, he said the elevator was see-through, and he looked at Chris Tomlin's face in front of him, and behind him was a banner of Chris Tomlin that they passed by in the elevator. And he said it was like this moment that he just like felt like, this small. And he's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to snap at you. But he shared that. I mean, go on his Instagram and listen to it. It's a lot better, of course, him talking about it. But it's a funny little story. And he brought that up because, him doing this cover of Chris Tomlin's song. But it was just, like I said, it was a great song this week. Probably my favorite as far as just the sound. But going from that, I do want to switch gears a little bit because that was more of a punk rock sound, right? So I want to talk a little bit briefly about this. I didn't do like a deep dive into it, but I thought it was cool to mention. Brandon Lake, of course, came out with a new song too called No Idols, but it's a little different than normal Brandon Lake stuff. It had some rap elements into it. So Brandon Lake teamed up with Schema Boy, right? And so I had never heard of Schema Boy before. Now, you had, right?
Yeah, I have a couple of his songs just in the past. I don't know a whole lot about him, but there was a few songs, one called Blimp that I really liked. And the other one is, I'm not for sure what the other one. But I'd heard a couple a couple other songs by him, and like they're the Blimp ones on this, like, 116, right? Lecrae's album. I've got a playlist I call 116, and it's like all my Christian hip hop stuff goes into it. So it's on there, and it's just a really cool, cool song, And when I saw this Brandon Lake and Schema Boy, when I was like, what? I was like, and it's heavy on Schema Boy rapping, more than it is Brandon Lake singing and stuff. So I expect this, a lot of people probably hasn't heard his stuff before. I would say because of this song, he's probably gonna, blow up a little bit. He's probably gonna get a lot more streams and listens and stuff now.
And he talked about this opportunity. Just to share a little bit of a backstory on it, he put this on his Instagram. He talked about how big of really a blessing this was and how it's probably going to change his life. He put on there, he said, some of you don't know this, but I worked a full-time job my entire music career. He said 40 hours a week, just squeezing in songs whenever he could. October 28th, the Lord told him that it was time to step into music full-time. So he just quit his job that day. Big leap of faith, right? I can't imagine. Over the next 2 days, the enemy hit him hard with every fear imaginable. What if you made a mistake? What if you're not good enough? He said the morning of October 31st, he opened his phone, and the first thing he saw was a DM from Brandon Lake asking if he wanted to collab. He said, you can't make that up. He said, look at God's timing. Fast forward just 3 weeks, and I'm asked to join the KOH Fall Tour, which is the King of Hearts Tour. I actually had the shirt on tonight. And this is what he's learned while on the tour, and he goes on to share some things personally about his wife and Brandon and just what they've meant to him on this tour and his experience. But ain't that crazy? Like working a full-time job and just having that moment to where he just puts all his faith in God, quits his job, and it's like, okay, like I'm going to try this. And 3 days later, like it's crazy.
A lot of great stuff happens 3 days later.
That is true. You are 100% correct. Yep.
The greatest thing in history happened 3
Yeah.
days later.
Not, I mean, maybe not in a 3-day frame, but when we talked about Christian Hahn last week, he had a very similar story that he had done worship for 15 years just in his church. And God told him that it was time to just take that step into music full time. And he said it was like within like the next few months, if not, I don't remember. It was very fast. He got opportunities to go to Nashville and help write songs with people. And that led him into him doing some music of his own, which led into one of his clips being seen by Ben Fuller's guitarist. And then now he's on tour with Ben Fuller. I mean, that is just crazy. Crazy to hear some of those stories.
Story with Brandon Lake and the Scheme of a Way. One thing that speaking about like this week's playlist, that song's near the top, and but it is far from the only, the being like the singular rap song in this playlist. This, if you like R&B and rap, like this week's playlist, this week's new songs is for you. There's so many on here that were, that are hip hop or R&B, style. We got Edgar Sandoval's back on here, and his other couple songs has been on here has not been too. I mean, they've kind of leaned towards the R&B side or whatever, but this one he's got on here this week called Holy is it's such a good R&B song. I really enjoyed it. There's some songs on here. There's a song called Confessions Part 3 by Thomas Austin, Taupe, and Paris. I'm not for sure who that is. Paris Cherise?
Cherise sounds better than Shiraz. I think Cherise, you're probably right.
It was good. There was also, where's that one I was looking for here? What I've Been Through. It's by this guy named Mission and Frank Rilla. I really enjoyed that. Both of them have a unique style with their rap. The Frank Rilla guy's voice is very unique. Loved it. He's got some line in there that I won't do it justice, but it was something to the extent you say you're Christian. It's like, but what's the difference? And it's like, so I'm not doing it justice, but how they rhyme and stuff. But the kind of like the gist of the song is like, I'm not what I've been through, and I don't look like what I've been through. It's like I'm different now, because of what God's did in my life and stuff. Really, really loved that, that take on it, that point of view. Just so many good ones, man, that was like that. You got Andy Mineo on here with Red Room. I think he's got a whole new album that's coming out. So I'm really looking forward to that. Prayers for My Enemies, Flicker. There was just so many, like I said again, these R&B and these hip hop ones. Psalm 30 was a great one. It's by a guy named Corey Paul. That was really cool because it starts off with like him doing the psalm, and it's kind of like a rap, the way that he does it. And then he's got his own verses in there. He's got his own stuff in there that's like, it's just good. This is just such a good energetic week of music, man. It's just like that, the songs you can just bump going down the road and just really just sit back and vibe with. Really good stuff.
And extremely, that Psalm 30, extremely talented rapper. I did think that,
for sure.
He was just like rolling off those bars, and I was like, wow, that's one of those you're like, woo, take a step back for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, you got Psalm 30, and then, we also had the other song. This is not rap, but you got at the top of the list that Psalm 8 by Phil Wickham, which it's a different style than what Phil, if I just kind of heard that, I wouldn't have said, that's Phil Wickham.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And I almost initially, there's just something about that, it's upbeat, but it's got kind of like that pop sound to where it's like, sometimes people will remix a song and they'll throw that beat in behind it, and it just has that I want to say dubstep. Dubstep is probably not the right word for it, but
yeah, it wasn't really a dubstep type song.
No,
but
it's got that beat, and sometimes I don't like that. I'm like, oh, I like this song. Don't add that beat behind it to make it upbeat. Yeah. But in his case, I initially, I heard that and I was like, I don't know. But then as the song gets going, it is a very just joyful song. It's Psalm 8, Hallie, and it's like Hallie, Hallie, Hallelujah. And,
Hallelujah, yeah.
And you'll be saying that Hallie, Hallie. Like you be saying that in your head after listening to the
Yeah.
song. It sticks.
It's
And
kind of one of those earworm ones that gets in there and it's like, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and brilliant songwriting because this is going to be on the soundtrack, and I'm sure showcased quite a bit on the Young David movie coming out. And that
that's cool.
is, yeah, I think I want to say Angel Studios had done it.
I think
So
they're the
they
ones that put it out. Yep.
so they had done like a little mini series before that was, I think, called it was Young David. And I'm saying Young David is the title of the movie, but it might just be like King David or something.
No, I think
I
you're right. I think it's Young David.
okay, I
Oh,
know
sure, I
for
can find out.
sure.
Well, this is here the David film.
Okay, so it's
But
just David.
Young David is show, and then the film is just going to be called just David. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
David.
Okay, and that makes sense, right? Because like in the movie, it actually goes through like his adult years, and so Phil Wickham. Fun fact: Phil Wickham is actually the voice of adult David in the movie. So that'd be
That's cool. I didn't know that.
yeah, that's pretty neat. And the song, as catchy as it is, to put it in a kid, I mean, I'll say a kid movie, but don't think, oh, it's a kids movie, don't go watch it. I think it'll be a great movie anyway. It's animated though, but it's like, yeah, kids will flock to it, and that's a blessing. It's a great thing. But this song being in there, you're gonna have kids leave going, Holly, Holly. You know, they're gonna be singing this song. So great place for that jam. Like it just, the tone of it, the joy in it, the song itself, it will fit well with this movie. And I've just like right now here recently, I've been really diving into a lot of like David's story and reading a lot in First, Second Samuel, and trying to actually, not to get on an AI sidetrack here, but I got to where I and this is what I think could be like a good proper use sometimes of like AI and stuff, is that two things I've done with it. I've allowed AI to help me bridge like the Psalms that David has, and like, okay, when he wrote this one, where was that at in like in the story, right? Like in what part of like Second Samuel or First, Second Samuel did this psalm come into place? And I tried to read like that, then go to the psalm and read it like, you know, chronologically. That makes sense at all.
It does.
And I've even got to where like I'll use like Sono and like put it in like a certain psalm. I'll try to put it in it and see what it, you know, like in somewhat of like a song format and see what it sounds like. I done that with, which I don't know that is a David psalm, but it was like Psalm 90 or 91 the other day, like the soldier's psalm or the soldier's prayer or whatever. So I thought that was pretty neat. I know that's a little bit of a sidetrack thing, but just I've been like into David a lot here recently, like in that story and those books. So I'm excited to go watch this movie. Yes, and especially take my kids stuff to it too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I enjoyed that song too, and like I said, it's different. It wasn't what you would think from from Phil. And I know we talked about the songs or the songs on this week being kind of more R&B driven and hip hop, but not all of it, right? There was several Christmas songs on here. We got the Christmas song "Go and Tell It" by Jeremy Camp. We've got "King of Hope" by Gas Street Music, and then the long awaited one by Tanil Nada or Nita. I was like, that's nice. We've got some Christmas songs coming in here, And then there was some few worship ones and stuff. There was two that really I liked lyric wise that really got me. One of them's called "Living to Learn" by this Alex Jude lady, and it's unique. It's like, I don't know, dude. I don't want to call it pop country, but it's got a unique like tempo to it and stuff, and it's got like this little, I don't even know if it's a real banjo. It might be a synthesized banjo in the background, that they're playing on the song and stuff, but the lyrics on it, man, I just want to read one of them. Let me pull it up real quick because for me, here we go. It says, "I keep staring at the ceiling, wondering when that shoe's gonna drop. I'm living to learn. Lord knows if I stay tied to this feeling, it's gonna take all I've got. I'm living to learn." And the whole song is like, it's talking about basically us getting caught up in our anxiousness and our worry. But what is it really doing? Like we need to trust God. And she's like, I guess I'm just living to learn. I'm learning these things as I go. And in my own life, there's been, different things I faced and health stuff and things, and it's like you have a good season, good things going. And in the back of your mind, you're like thinking, but when's it going to come to an end? You know, when's that shoe going to drop? Like she says, I'm sitting here staring at the ceiling, wondering when the shoe's going to drop. Like and it's like, but nothing's guaranteed. I think she actually says that at some point in the song, you know, that, nothing's guaranteed. And, you know, we just have to trust God. And it's like, that's the whole thing. I think, you know, that we're doing down here is kind of, we're living to learn to trust him, you know, really know that he's our everything. And that song just really hit me. It's a different musically, it's different, but it's really good. You guys need to go check that one out. The other one that really hit me really good was Wildest Dreams by Kyle Thomas. Like, love these words, man. It's like where he's talking about, I'm sorry, before I jump into that, I'm rambling. I didn't even give you a moment to
No,
say
you're
if you
fine. No, you're fine.
yeah.
I mean, I'll just say it was, yeah. I mean, the way you put that about living to learn, that was a beautiful way to put it. And I had told you prior to this, like, I think I need to, I liked it, like, on the first few listens. And hearing you talk about it, you know, that's what we talk about. Like, it hits us in different ways. Like, you talking about it in that way, it makes me excited to go back and check it out again and, like, really sit with it a little more. You know, musically, it's jumped off at me. I was like, oh, I really like that. But then, to hear you talk about it and share that perspective, it makes me want to dive back in and listen to it again.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a second take. Like I said, when I first started hearing the music and stuff, I said, this is different. And I was like listening to her sing them words, and I was like, man, I really like this. I get this. I get where she's coming from. And then with Wildest Dreams, the production value of this, like I've never really heard this guy, this Kyle Thomas, but I'm gonna go back and check out a lot of his stuff. I really love the quality of just how it sounded. And it's not like it's like it's you got a lot of production to it, you know what I mean? Like it's heavily produced or whatever. It's just it's clean. It's done. It's well done, and his voice sounds so clean on it and stuff. And then when you listen to the words and stuff, again, it says, "Roam my thoughts, they always roam. Is this life my own? Am I alone, or are you with me?" You know, and it's like, man, here it is. You got another internal struggle going on, you know, and you're stuck in these thoughts and you're stuck in this place that's not, it's not suitable for someone who's believing and trusting in God. You know, it's like we self-induce and cause ourselves so many of these problems, you know. But he goes on, he says till your breath filled up my lungs. Your love for me is rare. When I got lost in my despair, you were there to wake me up. Now I can breathe again. I feel like I feel like me again, but better, so much better. I don't know, man. Just like the song was so good. And then, there was another verse, if I'm going to find it here too. It's the very end of the song. He's like, you're a God that I can't wrap my head around. And I think, you know, we kind of need to embrace that too. It's like, as much as we want to know and understand God, we never fully will. We only know in part, right? We only see things kind of as through a veil, you know, until we get to that other side. And such a good song. Those two songs were, you know, like I said, this was a heavily kind of R&B and hip hop week, but those two songs in particular really hit me, and they're far from either one of those genres. Both of those songs were.
Yeah, and Kyle Thomas, I had found him on Instagram. I think it was just this past week. Stumbled on to him doing like a live set on can't remember what the Instagram page was, but it was a page that was promoting like Christian artists and stuff, and they shared a lot of like just live acoustic sets and stuff from people. And his voice, like I mean, his voice is great on the track, like studio as well. But even just outside of that, like a lot of those videos, I think it was just him and a guitar and maybe a few other band members. I can't remember, but his voice is just as great outside of it too. Like you know, in person live. So I think that I think this is an album drop for him too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if this is his debut album or anything. I don't remember or recall right off the top of my head, but I do know this was a part of an album drop. Newer artist, you know, guys, go check him out and you know, listen to Wildest Dreams, and if you really like it, go and listen to some of his other stuff. I've not got a chance to go through the whole album yet, but I'm sure it's solid based on what we can see from that song.
I'm going to be checking him out for sure. Like I said, this is just this was bait. You know what I mean? On a hook. And he's
got
got
you
me
in there.
hooked now.
Yep.
So now I have to go
Yep.
see what else he's got.
Yep, 100%. And another one, speaking of like newer artists and stuff, we added this one late because I just saw it today, but it was He Who Reigns, brand new. Like he just, from what I understand, looking online and stuff, he just now got started in his music journey. He's got 2 songs out. Can't remember what the first one was called off the top of my head. I've listened to both of them. Both are pretty solid. And this song, we actually put on our playlist the acoustic version and the non-acoustic version. Different feels to both of them, really. The lyrics, of course, are the same and everything, but I like the acoustic version. I think it sounds pretty good. I think you probably like the other one better, and it kind of
Yeah, I
gave you a
like that.
certain feel, right?
It did. It reminded me of it reminded me of an '80s song. I don't know why, but it's not like when you listen to it. It's just in that vein. It's good. You just have to go and check it out, and make your own decision about it. But it just, to me, it had like a cool '80s feel to it, man. It's just another good one that gave you just good vibes. You know what I mean? You just could really sit back and enjoy and listen.
100%. Trying to look and see if there is before we transition. I'm just going to run through the ones that we didn't mention. We mentioned quite a bit, so there's not many. And it just stopped me anywhere, Shawn, if you wanted to highlight any of these. But going down the list, we'll start with the first one we hadn't mentioned. That's King of Hope, Gas Street Music. Then we'll go over on to the next set. It's Father God by Gifted Hands, Prayers for My Enemies by TDS Cam, and a few other artists with her as well. Flicker by Chris Cario, On Beat Music. See Me Through Recovery by Team Eternity Ghana. Joy by MOG Music. Water in the Wine. Wine, I apologize. I can't say that name. I don't want to butcher it.
But
go ahead.
I was gonna say that's a unique song, and it's good. It's a good song too, but it's I think they're from like Africa. The way they sing and stuff, that you can, and when he's talking and stuff, he has, it sounds like an African accent, and that's a cool song to check out too. That was a good one. I think people will like it. It's got a gospel feel to it.
That's what I was going to say.
A gospel worship feel to it.
Yeah, like you said, it's unique, but that's what I thought. The gospel is a good represent. Like you saying, like a gospel feel like an older, not necessarily older, but like I don't know. It just has like that, right? It has like that certain thing, that sound to it. But I like it. Going from that over into, well, I think that's all of them that I had. But I did want to mention, I didn't add it onto our new music playlist, and that's all on me. Jimmy Clifton came out with a new album this past week. Fans of Jimmy on this podcast, he had a Christmas album that dropped. So definitely go check that out. As well as we stumbled upon this music group today that, let me tell you, top-notch name of a music group. 10 out of 10. They are called the Third Hour. So I don't remember if it's like the Third Hour worship team or what. I can't remember, but it's the Third Hour. So they just dropped some Christmas music, I think this past Friday as well. So it's new. So go check it out. From listen to their clips and stuff like that. They have multiple artists that take part in this team. All of them are super talented. The Christmas music kind of gave me like for the lack of a better way to describe it, almost like a slower like ballroom kind of, like, I want to say jazz, but just like a slower type feel to it. It's unique, and I like it. Like I said, it's different than it's a different take. For sure. They're a band to watch going forward. Like I said, a lot of those artists that were singing there on their page I was listening to, extremely talented. But that kind of wraps up all those songs. We're not done talking about music yet, because we got two segments we're going to go into, one of which at the end, of course, we've done for weeks now. But we're going to introduce a new segment right now, and it's one that probably could have done last week with Christian Hahn. Just didn't occur to me. But this is, if y'all watched
talked about it.
I know, yeah, I know. We've talked about it.
You came up with it.
That's what I was getting to say. If you listen to the last episode with me and Shawn on there 2 weeks ago, I don't even remember what the conversation, like what was going on in the conversation, what was being said, but we said next man up, right? And so you mentioned it, like you said, oh, that'd be a great segment. idea and was like, well, next man up for maybe like a new up and coming Christian artist that people can check out. And granted, there's a few artists that we've mentioned already that are new and that are worthy of being in this segment too. But there's one in particular that we're going to highlight this week. And I'll admit, I actually screwed up on our new artist stuff this week because I usually do new songs that come out like this. Like when we talk about this episode, it'll come out this previous Friday. We go week to week. Well, somehow this song ended up on some playlists that I check out for new songs. And so I made the mistake of thinking that it came out Friday. It did not. It came out in like July 2024. However, this song is great. I think it touched both of us. I wanted to have a place here to talk about it. As well as highlight to let you know about him, and then to let you know that even though this song is not new, he's got a new album coming out 3 days from now. So it's still relevant as far as the new stuff goes. Just to we'll talk about this song just to bring up a little bit about him. Well,
go ahead and tell him his full name now.
Yeah. So the song is, I was trying to, I actually did not send the stuff to myself, his bio, of course, but I can remember some stuff to talk about it. But Feelings and Faith is the song, and I left it on the new playlist, stuff because, it had been on there for days already, and it was a great song, and people probably hadn't heard it yet. So it's by Tyler Corbin. So that is our next man up this week, Tyler Corbin. And the song we're talking about right now is Feelings and Faith. And Shawn, I'll just read a little bit of the lyrics from this. Before I get in the lyrics, I'll just say Tyler, I thought I had his bio here, and I apologize for that. But newer artist, dropping his first album coming up, and from what I remember from the bio, he's been working on these songs for like 2 to 3 years. Put a lot of hard work into this. I'm excited to listen to it. He's from Huntington, West Virginia, so somewhat local to us over here. Tyler, if you happen to listen to this, we'd love to have you on, even, especially if, if it wasn't that far away, even an in-person thing. Yeah, not too bad. But just to read a few lyrics from this song, and I love the picture that he paints in this song. Yeah, he's praying to God, and you can hear his pain and like what he's going through in that first verse, right? And each verse has different characters, right? Well, between him and God. So the first one, he's like, "Oh, I've been trying to find you, and I'm out of breath. So where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? Because I can't find you. I've got nothing left. So would you show me your face if it's all in my head? Because I'm starting to think that you left me for dead." And that's like, just to stop there for a second, like how many times, like, I feel like, have we been there? As someone listening to this podcast right now, how many times have you been there? Like, think about it honestly. Like, it's a tough place to be. And even as believers, like, there's times we go through like small seasons of doubt. And we talked about that a little bit the last time we were on here together. But the second verse is beautiful because it's God replying back to him. And it says, "Oh, why are you crying? And why are you trying to find me? Because I never left. And I'm in plain sight. Oh, I live inside of your heart, child. Or did you forget?
You forget.
Yeah. And when I left a trace, did you wonder instead? Were you seeking my face or just lying in bed? And did you cling to the words I entrusted to you? Because those feelings will change, but my words never do." And so that, I have a little bit of the last one too, which I'll just go ahead and say it, and we'll go on a discussion. At the end, it bridges on, and the song musically, it starts slow, but it actually increases a little bit, in, I don't want to say suspense or theatrics or anything, but like it builds up. That's the perfect way to put it. The song builds up. And at the end it says, "'Cause feelings fade, they'll come and go. Yeah, these feelings fade, but all I know is if you never change, then I'm holding on to you." So it's his prayer, God's answer, and it's him responding back. That for me was just so crafty in the way he wrote it and so honest. And it just put me in a spot that like I've been there. Right. And
oh yeah, wholeheartedly. I like when God says to him, when he says, "You're saying that you're crying out to me and you're looking for me and you feel like I've left you and stuff." He's like, "Were you really seeking me? Or was you just laying in bed?" Like, It's like, was you really praying and searching for me? And it's like, and what about the words that you claim to believe in and stuff? Are you really clinging to those words that I've written you? And I love that part where they said that it's like, your feelings will fade, but my words will never fade. They never will, and they're full of truth. You can anchor yourself to those words, hold on to them. My promises are yes and amen, and such a good song. And I think in there too, doesn't he say, part of it says, the feelings and faith can be so hard to choose. And it is with us. It's like we want to give in to the feelings, but we want to choose our faith over the feelings. It's like this struggle that we have as humans, these flawed humans that we are. Such a poignant song, and I think it speaks to everybody if they'd be honest with themselves, Yeah, it's just a unique take on it. Like you said, it builds throughout, and it's just a really good song. So I hope that, next man up, I hope there's big things ahead for him. And I think there will be if he keeps writing such, just hard hitting songs like this that, just really cut through right to the core stuff.
Yeah, I really hope that come Friday, uh, we'll probably talk
Yeah,
about another one of his songs because this
that'd be
album
great.
drops. Yeah, I'm
Hopefully so.
super excited for that. And yeah, like you said, the way that this song's written, if it's any indication for, Friday, like what's coming out, like I said, I'm excited for it. And, you never know. Seems like he's been working on it for a while. I mean, you don't, yeah, I think some people think sometimes like these songs, and sometimes they do. Don't get me wrong. I feel like sometimes God probably puts it on people's hearts, and they might have an album out in a year or whatever. But this guy, he put in there that he'd been working on it for a few years, and so people like when they share that, you can tell it means a lot to them. So I'm super excited for it, and yeah, I mean, guys, let us know like what you think about that song and Tyler and the Next Man Up segment. Like, is this something you guys enjoy?
Yeah.
I'm excited for it because every week we have someone that's new, and so now we can kind of have a segment to where we can actually speak a little bit more pointed on them. Hopefully, help them. Maybe somebody listens to this helps them get a few followers or listeners or whatever. But we're gonna wrap this thing up with one of our favorite segments we do every week, and it's been a segment that we as participants of this show we enjoy doing ourselves and hearing each other's. But it is 1344 Hidden Gem
Hidden
segment,
gem.
and we have done 4 rotations so far, and came back to you, Shawn, and you're the one that like when we first introduced this, you kicked it off. The first episode you was on with us, and it was Love Song with Third Day, and which beautiful song. We had discussion about it, and now tonight's back to you again. So I'm going to shut up and just let you have the floor here, and you talk to us about your song.
Well, I'm out the gate. I'm gonna throw your curveball. So I kind of already told Cameron what my hidden gem was, but when he started talking about Jason Dunn and stuff, it made something come to my mind. So you were talking about Jason Dunn's, was it Dunner? Did you see where he does like Celtic stuff? So have you ever heard of Flatfoot 56? All right, you guys gotta go check them out. They are a Celtic Irish Christian punk band.
Wow, I've never.
And I won't
Yeah.
spend a whole lot of time on this, but I promise you, it will be the most unique version of Amazing Grace you've ever heard in your
My
life.
gosh. I
So
can't
you type
wait. Yeah.
in Flatfoot 56 Amazing Grace. I've shared this with a lot of my other friends over the years. It's a really old song. I don't know how old it is, but probably early 2000s. But they're a lot like, what was that? They sound a lot like, what was that band? Dropkick Murphys.
Oh,
Did you ever
okay.
hear them?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind
Yeah.
of sound a little bit like them and stuff, but you got to go check out that Amazing Grace. Like I said, I've told a lot of people about it, and I'll just be pretty blunt and honest with you. You're normally there's not any in between. You're normally one way or the other. It's a coin flip. You're either heads or tail. Either you love it or you
Yeah.
hate it. But for me, man, it's awesome. I love it. It gets me. I don't think anybody's ever said this about Amazing Grace, but it gets me jacked, man. It gets me
Yeah.
fired up. It's like you gotta go and listen to this version of it.
So what was the artist's name again? Just so I can make sure I
Flatfoot 56.
fit 56. Wow. So
And
are they still
56 is
make
the
music?
number. It's 5-6. I don't know.
Hmm. That's interesting. I've never heard of them. Amazing Grace is a gosh, that's a mammoth of a song, and in their faith, it's just
Yeah.
it's definitely not. It's not one that I've ever heard done in a way that like what you're describing. So I'm intrigued.
So it says that they are still together. Their lineup has changed over the years, and they're in the process of writing a new album.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, dude,
Pretty cool.
yeah, I think you're gonna get a kick out of it, man. But so that's just a curveball. That's not my hidden gem, though. We'll go back to
Yeah.
what the original hidden gem was. So the original hidden gem is off one of Kirk Franklin's first. He'd made a couple of albums with the family, but this is kind of when he was starting to take off with like the Stomp and what's the other song? Revolution. Remember that
Yeah,
Revolution?
yeah.
Kirk Franklin Revolution stuff. This is kind of during that era, so I think it's like the late 90s. But man, this is just about as gospel as you can get. It's called Something About the Name Jesus. And I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it yet, Cameron, or not, but I know I said that Amazing Grace song gets me fired. It gets me jacked, man. This song, when I hear this song and the guys that sing it, the passion they put behind their voice when they sing it, something about the name Jesus, man, it fires me up. One part of the song says it's like fire shut up in my bones, and uh, it is, man. There is something about that name Jesus, and that's what the scripture tells us too. There's no other name in heaven and earth that all authority has been given to. And at the name of Jesus, every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess that he is Lord. So it's like, man, when I hear that song, dude, it just fires me up. So I don't have a whole lot to say about it other than you need to listen to it. It is an amazing, uplifting song that if you are down and out, put that on, and just it starts off with this organ. It's like doodle doo doo doo, and then you hear these voices come in, doo 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 doo, and it's like I'm doing it such a disservice by going through this, but I can just hear it in my head, and oh man, it's just so good. There's a verse in there that talks about it being sweeter than honey, and like I said, so you can just be in a bad mood, feeling down and out, and when you listen to that, man, it just fires you up, and you just realize, man, I have an advocate with the Father. If he is for me, then who can be against me? Like, it just reassures you. It's just uplifting because there is something about the name Jesus. And if you don't know what to pray, what to say, what to do, man, you can call on that name. You can say
just say the
Jesus,
name.
Jesus, Jesus, dude. But it just changes my atmosphere every time I listen to it, dude. Like it fires me up, and I hope that it's if it don't do something to you, if it don't encourage you, then you might want to do a fruit check, do a little self inventory of yourself, because it's a great song, man.
Well, I hadn't got a chance to, as I told Rusty last week, I feel like I have a pretty big inventory of like songs that I know, but I did not know that one. And it's one of those that I listened to it on the way home, and I'm going to listen to it more. But it's like you said, it's just, I mean, it's hard to dive into it more than just the title, right? Like there's something about the name Jesus. And that is almost, you could leave it at that and be, there's power in knowing that. And I just like, so go back through history, like even like on the standpoint of, like you look at like the book of Acts and stuff, it's just how powerful it is. Just people just, the healing and stuff, and, in Jesus' name. And it really is like, there's so much behind, there's another song that I like. I can't remember. I think it was actually plug one of the artists that you talked about in our last show, Benjamin William Hastings. He's got a song that's called like "There's Power." Like there's just power in his name, right? Like it was just there's something to it, and like even like every night when I go in my son's bedroom and I try to check on him and stuff. I try to, if I can remember every night, and it's not every night I get a chance to do this, but I try to just like say Jesus like over him. And it may not be like a prayer, but just saying that. And I really have the full confidence in that speaking like his name over him has an impact. I have full confidence in that. Now I don't know, what battles are going on that I can't see, but I feel like that the enemy's gone, whenever we say that. So yeah, it's just, I mean, it's like I said, that the little bit I got to listen to it on the way home, beautiful. And Kirk's passion personified. Like music, it's just, he's one of a kind. And guys, I just want to let you know, I told everybody, or I told Shawn in the group chat when he said he's doing a Kirk Franklin song, I said that we need to have Shawn get up and do some Kirk Franklin dancing moves. That's what we should have led it with when we said, oh, your hidden gem is Kirk Franklin. You should have got up, started, busting some moves. I mean, that guy can dance. I'm telling you. That's complete side note. I don't know how much he was dancing during this song, but it's probably one of those that I feel like he was probably, as passionate as he is, he was probably up there fighting back tears while he was singing it.
Oh, dude, yeah, he's well, he's leading it, right? So, there's some other guys singing it, and of course, your background vocals and stuff. But yeah, it's such a good song. If you've never heard it before, you need to introduce yourself to it, because it's going to be a song that you'll end up putting on, like I said, just for encouragement and just to remind you of the awesome God that you serve, the awesome God that came down, put on human flesh, and died for you. It's like, man, it's an amazing song. Super uplifting. Probably don't listen to it now before I go to bed, and I'll be all fired up and won't be able to sleep.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a few songs now that I have songs I want to go back through after hearing you talk about them on the new songs, and then also the Flatfoot 56. Right? Is that what you said?
Flatfoot 56.
Yeah, I'm gonna be listening. I'm gonna be probably like stomping and stuff, listening to Amazing Grace here in a few minutes, and
Yeah.
then going into Kurt Franklin's. I mean, there's a lot of stuff this week that you can pull from this. Check it out. Let it help. Just be a vehicle to get you into that, into like God's presence and to praise Him. And listen, you don't have to go and search all these songs individually. We have them on a playlist for you. So you look up, and I mentioned at the beginning of the episode as well, but the Third Hour Collection on Spotify. Right now we don't have it on Apple and stuff. I need to figure out a way to get something over there too. But we have it on Spotify, Third Hour Collection, and you can listen to the new songs as well as the hidden gem that Shawn just mentioned. We have that as well, like our hidden gem playlist.
So real quick, while you were talking, I was looking at the I wanted to know what album was, because it was a good album overall. That Flatfoot 56 has Amazing Grace on. It's on an album called Knuckles Up. So Knuckles Up. And then the Kirk Franklin, Something About the Name Jesus, is on the New Nation Project. And I was right. It came out in 1998. So it's quiet. It's got some age to it, man, but it's like fine wine, I guess. It just keeps getting better and better. Like, such a good song, dude. So I hope everybody that's watching or listening, you go out and check those two songs. Night and day, those two songs are. And again, with the Flatfoot 56, there's no middle ground. I don't.
Yeah.
You're either gonna like it or not, but respect it. If you don't like it, at least respect it. Like, it's a neat
the
thing.
words are still the same. I'm sure. So the messaging is still.
It's the words that are exactly the same.
Yeah. And it's an odd sidetrack, and then we'll wrap it up. But mentioning Amazing Grace, I had thought prior to getting this, like to doing this podcast and stuff, I thought of an episode one time would be cool to even just look back at the history of Amazing Grace, like such a powerful song like that. I'd love to know beginnings of it, and on up through them. It's been covered so many times, and that'd be a cool.
So I'm pretty sure that there's a movie about that, and if I'm not mistaken, one of the hymns, I'm 95% certain that it's Amazing Grace, but I'm pretty sure Amazing Grace was written by the guy that wrote it was a slave trader, and when God saved him, he realized like how wrong that was and stuff, and then he ended up writing Amazing Grace and stuff. So we'll have to look into that, but I'm pretty sure that's the kind of the story behind that, man. And I want to say that they made a whole movie about that, so that might be something that's worth checking out too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And like I said, just finding that out maybe checking out the movie and just along the way talking about maybe some like remakes and stuff of it. It's a future idea, maybe be a unique little episode just to bridge the music side into it.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll wrap it up, guys. It's been a fun episode with you, Shawn. There's been
I
a lot of
always
great
enjoy it, man.
songs. But it's been, yeah. We were talking before we started recording, guys. Me and Shawn could probably sit here and talk for hours. So it's one of those things. I enjoy having us all on here. Don't get me wrong and stuff, but I definitely, when it's just me and you, I can run my mouth a little bit longer.
You ain't got a chance to keep you on track.
That's it. Yeah, she ain't like kicking me under the table. Like, hey,
if me, you, and Rusty do a podcast just by ourselves, it'll probably be like 3-4 hours long.
Yeah. We'll just need to, like you said, do like a marathon. Just, hey, listen, like one day, what we need to do is have like a fest. You know how people have like festivals, like Faith Fest, like, and they're like they start early on Saturday morning, they go up through the night. We should do that. We'll start early, and we'll have artists just call in like throughout the day and do a few songs and tell their story, head back out. We'll keep talking and then come back in again. So,
do you remember the telethons back in the day when they would raise money for something, right?
Yeah.
We need to do a podcast-a-thon.
Man.
And raise money for something and have them come in at different times to sing a song or do an interview. And
man, that would be wild.
Let's cut to Mariah and Chelsea on the phones. How much money have we brought in? We're up to $1.25.
But we're getting there. We're getting there. So let's keep them coming.
Chelsea's like, oh, wait a minute. We just got something in. Somebody said they'll give us $20,000 if you guys will shut up and end this podcast.
Yeah. He said, oh, that's me. That's what you would say. I'll donate. Man, yeah. Hey, listen, it's been fun.
Dude, it's been a blast.
Guys, just let us know what you think. Think about these songs, the new segments we're introducing, the Hidden Gem. We love hearing your feedback, and we've just been extremely blessed to see it get out there to a few more people. And we've got some artists that are following the page now, and some other podcasts are following it. Just like I said, we thank you for the support, and we just ask for your prayers going forward. That we are in line with God's plan for it, and the artists and stuff that are out there. Listen, we're not picky. If you want to come on, we already had an artist, and we got another one coming up in January. We got another one. We got a little special surprise for y'all coming around Christmas time. So we got some things in the works, but for sure, guys, if you are out there listening and you are an artist, get a hold of us. We'll get you on here. Let you talk about your story, your journey, some stuff about your songs, and we're even working on getting it to where you can do some songs on here, and we can put it out there too, if that's something you wish to do, or if you just want to do a plug for your music and talk about it and not do the music, that's fine too. But just know that we're open to having you on. And same with like the podcasts that are following us and some of those people. Part of this is just having conversations of faith, and we do that with some of the testimonies and stuff. So all that's in play, and like I said, we're grateful for any interest we get. But that'll be it, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.